Hi, my name is Deidre Casey, and welcome to the first episode of the Recovering Artist Podcast, a podcast for the prevention and recovering from repetitive strain injury. And today I'd like to welcome my first guest, Lisa Walker. She is an alumni of the Damany Center, and today she's going to tell her story. So, go.
Thanks, Deirdre. So I'll just sort of give it you, it's a long story. I had a repetitive strain injury for 27 years, not including the recovery once I met Suparna. So it's probably been more like 30 years almost by now, I think. I think I've been with Suparna for 2 years approximately. So anyway, I was in my last year of art school. I was getting a degree in ceramics and sculpture, so I was doing a lot of heavy lifting, lifting clay and, working on the wheel, and just it was a lot of lifting. And I also had a job. I was working 25 hours a week at an office job, and this was back in like the early 90s. So computers were fairly new. So the ergonomics, like that just wasn't something that people talked about. I mean, it was like a little Apple Mac, like this size. And, just nothing was set up with ergonomics in mind. And most likely they wouldn't have set it up correctly these days anyway. It just was kind of like, or I just don't think they would have paid attention to it. But in any case, yeah. And I was taking public transportation. I was going to school in Boston. So like I would leave my job, bad ergonomics like this, and I was like on a phone like this, calling people. And then I would put on this heavy backpack. So I was like going like this, and I would walk to school and then go and like lift all this stuff. So I think the combination of all of those things, I was about halfway through my senior year, and that's when I started having problems. And I had numbness and tingling on the ulnar side. I have a lot of neck pain, lots of shoulder pain, like right here. Like I couldn't even carry a pocketbook on my shoulder, like everything just hurt. And yeah, so I got through that year with, I had some people type up my papers for me. I paid some people I knew to type my papers and that kind of thing. Um, and I just didn't really, I heard about carpal tunnel, so I just assumed I had carpal tunnel. I remember I got a book out of the library, which was not Suparna's book. She didn't write it till 2000, and this was like 1995, it was years before that. Yeah, and there just wasn't that much information about it at all, other than a few articles here or there. I remember I went to like my PCP and I told her about it, and she gave me one exercise, which was to put my hand like on the wall and kind of go up like this and down, completely useless, and to wear splints. Like it's laughable now. Like that's
Like they don't,
not
they
what
didn't
it.
know the they didn't know the damage the computers were doing to people.
Yeah, I don't think they did. And even now, it's so hard to find someone who knows what they're talking about. Like, I mean, I was seeing people who supposedly were helping me, but no one really helped me till I went to Suparna.
Yeah.
So,
And they just said, "Oh well, you might just have to live with the hand pain." I'm just like, I refuse to accept.
mm, yeah, it's ridiculous. It is. And it's depressing when you're an artist or a musician or
Oh,
something like that.
yeah, because it's
It
like you.
is
I'm sorry.
really devastating. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, you lose like it's like when you have a passion and then that's taken away from you. It's like really, it's 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 indescribable how much pain you feel because you feel it's like you can't have it, you can't do it again. You feel like that sense of loss. So the
Yeah.
Damany Center really gives you that. Suparna really like helped me reclaim that. So anyway, back to you.
No, it's a good word for it, reclaim, because I really feel like I reclaimed being an artist, once I started to feel better and like, oh, I can, like, she wanted me to make art. So, like, that was like the best PT assignment ever. Like, you should sit and draw for half an hour every night and just, work those muscles.
Like, oh, really? I'm afraid.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's kind of like it doesn't, it did a number on me, basically. And I think that's why my muscles got so weak, is I was afraid to hurt myself.
Oh, yeah.
So I got into like a vicious cycle of not doing stuff and then doing a bunch of stuff and then having a flare up that was really bad and just like being depressed afterwards.
And you get scared. It's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I can't do this, you know. I had the same stuff happen.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just all part of the cycle. And um, anyway, so and I had just graduated art school and I really couldn't do anything. So, you know, anyway, so then shortly thereafter, about 3 years after that, I was still having like a lot of neck problems. I remember I worked for a chiropractor and she would like massage my neck and do all this stuff. But nothing really helped. And I would try to exercise, like I knew I needed to strengthen, but every time I did, again, I would hurt myself. And then I was afraid to do it, because of that. So about 3 years after that, I'd always had like a very tight jaw. This is like another problem, but it's kind of intertwined with it. And one morning I opened up my jaw and it popped, but it was really loud. And from that moment on, I couldn't open up my mouth as wide as I could before. And unbeknownst to me, the disc in my joint had popped out of place.
Okay.
Yeah. And so over time, it was like my whole face changed. Like my jaw sort of traveled over, like my bite opened up and was like crooked like this. It was really pretty crazy. And I was young, I was like, it was 2 years. So I was 29. I was still young. And I was just like, oh, it'll go away. But it didn't go away and it got much worse. And I did find a great dentist who really was kind of my savior and helped me. I ended up being the 1%. Your TMJ gets so bad that you need surgery. And I did every conceivable, you know, preventative measure I could to not have surgery because if you go online and look at jaw surgery, it's not great. It's just, it's one of those surgeries that
Can
it's
go back really
doesn't always
easily.
it doesn't always turn out well. You could end up having multiple surgeries. It's very scary. Like it makes me anxious just thinking about it now. Um, so anyway, so that contributed even more to me weakening. Like I just really was not using my muscles because I was trying to, this would get really tight. So anytime I lifted my arm, did anything like that, this would kind of seize up and it was sort of pulling my posture more like this, which of course wasn't helping the hands at the same time. So anyway, long story short, I ended up having major surgery. I have an artificial joint on this side. Yeah, it was like it was, I have to say, worse than the repetitive strain injury. It was much worse in terms of anxiety and stress, and the pain was just real. I mean, I was disabled by it. It was really, really bad. I was very isolated because it hurt to talk. My kids were little, so like fortunately I was home with them. I had like a thing I had to do every day. I had to take care of them, but it really was a very isolating experience. It was really hard. Um, so anyway, so I ended up having surgery, but I was just so weak, like everything I did. And I was seeing physical therapists. Like I've always gone to see someone who does cranial sacral therapy, which is a very gentle therapy. And I had a great person, and it just sort of helps my jaw kind of be as normal as it's going to be. Like it's never going to be normal again, because I have like an artificial joint on this side's natural, and my bite still isn't right, so it's still not quite right. But anyway, this does tie into Suparna at some point. Um, anyway, so I was seeing PTs, and I would say like, well, what about the repetitive strain injury? Like, can you give me some exercises that'll help me with that? And it was like no one had like a plan or the whole picture. No one had that. Um, so anyway, after that, I ended up, after the surgery, I ended up doing Tai Chi for like 10 years, and that helped a lot. It helped me relax, first of all, which was good. And it helped my posture a lot, not as much as what Suparna did, but I think it really kind of dug me out of a hole and I started to feel a lot better. So during COVID, this is where I found Suparna. I was working a lot. I have my own business. It's an art business. I have a business partner. So she was doing the stuff I couldn't do because of my repetitive strain injury. We teach, and she was putting together all the materials and prepping stuff. but then I could do the teaching, right? So I still like kind of had my hand in art. I was teaching, I was still kind of making my own art here and there when I could, but it wasn't much. Like I never had like, what's that?
You got brave enough to try.
Yeah, well, and like frustrated, like I want to make some art,
I know,
you
I know
know?
the feeling of the
Yeah.
the artistic pent up energy, and it needs some sort of outlet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So during COVID, I was working a lot and I was like sitting at this desk and I was on my computer and I was teaching online. And I think the posture of that, again, wasn't great. And and one thing I noticed while I was doing Tai Chi, I was doing it online on Zoom, is that when I looked at myself in the camera at me, my right arm was like 2 inches lower than my left arm. And I was like, oh, that's not good. Like I never noticed that before, but I could see myself on Zoom, one of the squares when I was standing up doing Tai Chi. I was like, that's not good. Uh, so anyway, so what ended up happening was I had two really bad flare-ups during COVID, like bad, bad, just, you know, really freaked me out. It's like over the course of all that time, I would have these flare-ups and then it'd be like, oh, I guess I can't do collage anymore. I can't cut with scissors. Oh, well, I guess I can't do this anymore. It was just, and it just, anyway, so I dove into the internet and I found there's a Facebook group for people with repetitive strain injuries. And then I found the Reddit group, RSIs, and I kept hearing her name mentioned by all these people. And I was like, huh. I was like, I wonder if she does Zoom appointments. I'll give her a call. So I called and yeah, she does Zoom appointments and or Skype or whatever. And yeah, so that was, thank goodness, because I mean, she really turned it around.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, it was so grateful that I found her because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. I know I feel like Suparna. I love her. Like, no, she really is. She really is. And she was the first person to actually diagnose me with thoracic outlet syndrome.
Yeah, like I had
Um,
something too. Just
mhm,
like a combination of all little bits and pieces all together that they call RSI.
yeah, right. Well, that's the thing is it's so complex. It's not just the hand or the wrist. It's not isolated to here. For most
Yeah.
people, it's all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's the neck, the shoulders, it's the brachial plexus. You know, it's very complicated and involved. And I feel like if you don't have someone that really knows how complex it is and can help you rehab, so many people, I don't know if you're in the RSI group on Reddit.
Facebook group. And but the last time I was in there, they were so depressing. I don't even think they knew about Superman. So maybe it was the wrong one.
Mm.
I just like,
Well, there's a lot of people coming in. They're like, what is this? What's going on? I'm so depressed. I'm just, I can't take it anymore. I'm in so much pain. Um, yeah. So, I mean, I definitely have sympathy for that. And it's hard when your hands don't feel well to go on the internet to find the solution because it hurts to be on your.
when I was trying to do like one of the things with my RSI is first I hurt my left arm. Uh,
Mm.
I got injured from the bad diet, and then I started using my right hand on the trackpad. I'm like, oh, I gotta keep working. And then I got excruciating pain in my right hand, and nothing I did could make the pain go away, and I stopped using my hand because I was afraid it hurt. I was afraid that it was going to hurt. And then Sue Parnas was like, okay, time to do hand exercises. And at first it hurt really, really bad, but then it got better. So it was just like, but yeah, like the pain is no joke. This was the
No.
doctor said I was gonna have to live with the pain in this hand, and there's no pain in it now. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's great. Um, so where was I with that? So basically, I found her, and I would say my progress was glacial. That's how I described it at the time. It was glacial.
We went
I
slow.
think, well, because like we talked about before we started, I have a weight where you can take it apart, and it's like these little half-pound pucks that are inside of the weight,
Oh
you know?
yeah.
Yeah. So like I could do I was doing like wrist exercises like this. Like first we started with stretching and doing nerve glides. First, no one ever prescribed nerve glides to me ever.
Yeah, those are wild. First time doing
Because
it.
that is like a big piece of the cure is the nerve glides, but no one seemed to know what those were. Anyway, so when I was with Eric, who does the exercise, I was doing exercises like this. I'd have my arm on my couch, and a half a pound would make this muscle stress out, which would make everything hurt. It's like I could not get past a half a pound for the longest time. It was glacial. Just a little bit of weight. I mean, everything that I started was all body weight first. Like if I was doing this, I was doing my arms first, and then I was doing weights, you know?
Initially, it started with body weight, and then I gradually, the first time, like before I like really jacked myself up with the bad diet, I was making some gradual process, but like I, my mom told me to stop doing it, and I wouldn't listen because I was so stuck on that idea that, oh no, I know this is the only way that's going to work. And I'm just like, well, I learned the hard way. But like, yeah, I was really my progression was like really slow with my fish weights and stuff. And once I learned the problem was, it turned around. But yeah, everyone's got a different story about their progression. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm thinking back, I'm like, how did I get past the half a pound? I don't know. I think what turned it around, I mean, I had built up to this. So she started having me do yoga. She started having me do downward facing dogs. And I think when I started doing that, that really stabilized my upper body. I still do 4 of them a day because they just feel good. And I know how much they help me. I think that, but I couldn't have done that day one. And that was probably a year in. I don't know, I have a bad conception of time, but it was probably about a year in I started doing that. And that's when I really started stabilizing. And that probably strengthened my forearms enough and this enough that I could then start to lift heavier weights. But it's invaluable for me to have her because if I get stuck, which rarely happens now, I just email her and say, all of a sudden this thing is bothering me. And she always has a stretch or a thing that I need to do for a little while. And I do it, and lo and behold, it goes away. Or she'll say, she always says ice. So I ice. So now I just ice first, like she's going to tell me to ice. Yeah. So,
sometimes when like, I still get flare ups sometimes when I'm not paying attention too closely. And I'm like, wait, what did I do the other day? And I usually can pinpoint it. I'm like, oh, because sometimes
yeah.
you kind of forget, and then you reel it back in, like, and then like my favorite is moist heat therapy. Uh, and then I realized icing, like when you, like when I have like sometimes I get pain in my thumb if I hold my phone the wrong way, or I like play piano. Like I'm still working on getting back to playing the piano because that was a thing I really like to do. But I'm like, the scar tissue is just like kind of stopping it a little bit. But like sometimes the thumb would hurt. My thing was that I just get an apple, a cold apple, and I hold it in my hand because it's shaped to your hand really well, and it's not as like intense as ice, so it doesn't give you
Yeah.
frost. You get a really nice cooling sensation on your hand. So like
Mhm.
there's learning little tricks as I like experience this, because like I I actually got I met with Suparna in 2021, so it's actually not very far apart from when you started. So it's kind of interesting. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so you were
I
talking
did want to
about,
tie it back into my jaw because there is a connection.
yeah,
That's the reason why I
yeah,
told that
yeah.
whole thing.
Let's go back to your
So
story.
I do find like this is the bonus is
Mm-hmm.
that my jaw is much better now because my neck is over my shoulders. I'm not like this.
Yeah, no
And
hunching.
when I'm like this, these muscles are like clinging on for dear life because they insert into your jaw and into here. So now that my posture's better, my jaw's better. Like better, better. Like again, I'm not going to be 100% because I had surgery and a big problem, but made a huge difference. A huge difference, you know. And my arm, like I'm about 2.5 years since I started seeing her. Again, I'm not great with remembering exact times. Um, but this arm on the right was 2 inches lower, is only like a half an inch lower now.
It's amazing.
That's a big difference. That took like 2 years though. Like that's a more recent thing I'm noticing. Like, oh, I'm starting to like straighten up again and I look symmetrical. And I'm not, I'm not gonna tell you my age, but I'm not that young, you know? And for my body to change that much, I think is pretty astounding, you know?
You're surprised how resilient your body is once you actually give it what it needs. And you're not like,
Yeah.
it's like, they're like, oh, once you hit a certain age, get over it or, get used to it. Like, I'm like, no, I don't, I refuse to believe that. I'm like, I believe our bodies can recover from a lot. And especially like
Yeah.
when you learn about like exercising properly and stretching and taking care of your body and hydrating and stuff, it, you can bounce back. Just, it's amazing. Cause I thought I was done for, I thought I had sentenced myself and I wasn't going to be able to ever get back. And I'm like, I'm coming back. I'm like, I keep telling Eric, I'm going to be better than I was before I started this. So that's,
I mean, I
that's the
feel
point.
that way now. Actually, I do. I feel better now than I did when my kids were little. I feel much better. I mean, even like I was starting to get like spasms in my back. I don't have that problem because, he's giving me, now I'm doing compound exercises with Eric. So I'm not just lifting weights. I'm also doing lunges as I'm doing, bicep curls and yeah, and like incorporate balance into it. So I'm strengthening the core. So, so yeah, I'm just like not in pain anymore, which is amazing. It's amazing.
It's amazing what the Damany Center does for you. Like my brain like farted on me, so I can't think of what I was going to say. But
Yeah.
ah, okay. So you got your jaw fixed. So is that like where you are? Have you reached the present of your experience? I'm gonna get my phone out to look at the questions.
The only thing my computer setup, I got an adaptive setup at one point.
Oh,
So
you
I
did.
have like a joystick controller for my mouse. I have a free tool that I use. I think it's a it's like a clicker, what do you call it? A dwelling mouse where you move the cursor to the thing and you stay there for a couple seconds and it clicks. So I don't use the typical mouse. And if I'm sitting, I really stand most of the day working now because you know how she talks about,
Standing.
yeah, you got to keep moving. So that's a big thing that she talks about. Big thing is blood flow and, heat,
Don't
ice,
stand.
moving around, you know, doing like a burst of aerobics at your desk, move around for a while if you're not feeling good. Um, so I've kind of taken that to heart and stand most of the day. But when I sit, I have a button that's connected to my joystick and I click with my like the side of my leg, buttons on like a thing, and I just click like that. So I have a whole
Really done that. So, is it
well,
do you just train
I
yourself?
don't I don't know because I haven't used a regular mouse. I
Oh,
started kind of typing, but it doesn't really work because I have this joystick that I use is so big, it's kind of in the way. I have to keep moving things around. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So, and I use Dragon, so I dictate most of what I
it's just
say, but Dragon kind of sucks. I mean, it's great, believe me. Thank God it's here, but it's ridiculously expensive and it's just annoying. I'm waiting for something better to come out one of these days.
I don't know.
But for now, mhm.
AI might be getting closer
Yeah,
to being able to handle that. I mean, isn't Dragon kind of an AI already? I don't know. I
I'm
heard
not
about
sure, but they don't really have support anymore for it. It's
it
just,
here. It still
I
exists, but they're not updating it.
they do, like they'll sell you the new software, but there's
Hmm.
no support. You can't call support, it doesn't exist.
That sounds like a problem that they need to fix, or it sounds like someone's going to make an AI that's going to put them out of business, probably.
There's other stuff to use like Talon, but I'm not a programmer, so I can't, yeah, can't deal with that. But anyway, and basically what she talked to me about was like, what's your goals? What do you want to be
Yeah.
able to do? And I was like, I want to be able to make art again. That's the thing I'm dying to do. That's what I'm missing, you know? So I'm able to make art again. So that's amazing. And even like, so I teach and we do lots of different things. We do painting, we do clay, but we also do needle felting, which is tough on the hands.
Oh,
And I do use a handle, but I can needle felt now. You know, I spend an hour needle felting, hour and a half needle felting in a class. I'm fine, which is amazing. Like it's a tough craft. A lot of people develop problems with it. But I mean, I don't do it for hours. I wouldn't recommend anyone do it for hours because it's so.
people don't, when they first learning to do a thing, like what triggered my RSI was like, oh, I was so into making this comic and I was throwing hours and hours into it because I didn't know any better. No one told me to stop and stretch. No one told me to have good posture and pace myself. Because a lot of people run themselves into the ground chasing after passion, trying to like monetize it, and they don't know how. It's like an athlete trying to do a marathon before they've trained to do marathon running, and that's how it happened for me, and then triggered with the terrible diet that I did to myself. So
Yeah.
it's like or
Yeah. I mean, but we're all kind of operating in a vacuum that way, you know? Like that's not something you're reminded to do. And I think it's worse now because everyone's on their phone all the
they
time. I
didn't
mean, I am too.
they
We're
didn't teach it in art
constantly
school.
focused. No, they didn't. No.
Like I'm like, dude, people need to know this. That's why I'm doing this podcast. I gotta find the people that need this help because I know they're out there. Like we've got two of
Oh
them
yeah.
right.
Yeah. Oh
There's
yeah, they're out
more.
there. If like in the Reddit group, there's always people coming in saying I'm a musician or a musician like you, play the piano and draw. They
Yeah,
have
like
these very hand intensive hobbies.
I
And
played the
it's like
piano
you're
for
never really,
years,
yeah,
and
it's
so
like
I
you're
probably
never
had
really
like
taking a break.
buildup of scar tissue just from the playing of the piano and not taking breaks, or because when you're younger and you haven't like injured yourself yet, your body can take it, but then it comes to a point where it can't anymore, and that's where I got. I kind of like I accelerated it with the diet. I feel like
Yeah,
I made it super easy to start getting injured. It's like, oh, of course I had to speed run it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, there's
But
definitely people out there.
I have stuff I look back at, it took me 27 years, which is a long
I was
time,
like
you
short.
know, to to get here. And I feel like, why did it take me so long? But I mean, really, there's a lot. It was the two things together. There was a lot going on. So I have to be gentle with myself on that because just were things out of my control. And, I was only trying to protect my muscles, try to make myself feel better. I just didn't know. And I didn't have, say again?
You were doing what you could at the time. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what it is.
yeah. And I feel like, Suparna was sort of the ticket out. Thank God I found her. And I think she's been doing it for a really long time. She has a very like global view of it. And, I can't speak for every kind of repetitive strain injury, but for me, she was able to pull me out of it and motivate me when I needed it and help me out of the ditch I was in sometimes with pain and with being afraid of using my body.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, pain is a very complex thing. There's a lot of psychology with it. There's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
There's, yeah, it's just,
It's a
it
lot.
really does a number on you. Hmm.
It's like you need to have someone to like explain to you that what you're experiencing is temporary and you can fix it. And
Yeah.
she told me that. She gave me like the way out, It's like I was out of that pit. So it's just
Yeah.
like more people need to find her. That's my goal.
Yeah. 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 They do.
Okay. Well, I think now I have a few questions that I wrote down, so I will ask them to you now. So when you first figured out when you had RSI, uh, what was going through your head?
Froze a little bit there.
Okay, do you want me to
You
repeat?
froze a little bit there. Yeah, could you? Because you froze.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that. Okay. When you first got RSI, what was going through your head? Like, what were the emotions? Like, what can you remember how it felt when you're like, I have RSI? What now?
I just remember crying.
Oh,
I'm a crier to begin with, but no, I can remember just crying and just feeling so just devastated.
oh.
I was devastated. That's the only way really to describe it, you know?
Like, I don't want to be a forest ranger. Something that I'm
Yeah.
not for.
But there's so many jobs where you have to use your hand. There's like, what is there?
Yeah,
You
I
know?
know. Just like all you can do is like pray. I'm like, pray. I want to draw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so when you when you got your RSI, like where did you go first? What doctors did you go to first? Who did you see
I
first? Like,
well, I did go to see the PCP. Um, then I worked for a chiropractor. She seemed to kind of know what she was talking about. And again, she would work on me, and I was doing desk work, so I was on a computer when I worked for her, and I was typing and everything. And I figured, oh, well, I'm working for a chiropractor. She'll be able to help me, and I'll be okay. But after that, that didn't really work. And so I ended up doing retail, which wasn't very computer heavy, which was good at the time. You know, this is a while ago. And then over the years, I did go and I got with a nerve conduction study. And I remember there was one point like up here, it was upper part, and I remember it hurt so much. I mean, it really hurt. Like it was a jolt of ooh. And they do an electrical current and it measures where there's a blockage, I think. I don't know, it's been a while. That's one of the tests that they send you for. And it wasn't really conclusive. It was like, well, you kind of have a problem. Like, well, why am I not able to use my hands if it's kind of a problem? Like it's a big problem for me, you know? So I had different tests like that done. And again, I really didn't get any results from the medical field. I also went to PT another time. This is when my kids were little. And I remember they had me in the pool. Like, oh, you'll do exercises in the water. But the thing with the water is it's like you really can't feel it till you get out. And I remember that really hurting me. And I remember the two people who were helping me were just like, oh, we don't kind of know what to do with you. They just were kind of looking at me like, well, I don't know. You can't do pool exercises.
I went to
So,
occupational therapy, and they helped a little bit. But as soon as I started talking about the pain in my right hand, they're like, "Oh, well, we weren't told to work on that," and I'm just like, "What?
mhm,
You're not going to help me
mhm,
because the doctor didn't give you?" And like I even got like cortisol shots in my hip because I was like freaking out. Like the inciting incident with my left arm,
yeah.
uh, I got like I was so like freaking out. I'm like, "Oh my God, did I break it?" And I went to the emergency room and everything because like it all stems back to the weakened muscles. But it was like there was so many like visits to the doctor and occupational therapist, like you almost forget about it all. They really
Yeah.
don't. They really aren't trained to like understand it, and it's frustrating.
Mhm. But it's a common story. Again, like if you go in the support groups, people see multiple doctors, multiple PTs, and they really don't get any help. They
Yeah,
really don't.
it's just
And
like
it it's frustrating. And unless you really advocate for yourself and dig to find something, but again, like if you're in a lot of pain with your hands, you're not on the internet searching around.
yeah, it's like
You're trying
it's
to
a lot
avoid your
to
phone
yourself.
and rest. Yeah. So I had a PT for a long time that I really liked, and she helped me with my jaw. She was a craniosacral person. And then I went to two PTs after her before I saw Suparna. And I had one in particular who had great reviews. She had really great reviews. And, but I remember, and I asked her about it, I was like, do you think I have carpal tunnel? Do you think I have ulnar tunnel? Like, what do you think I have? Like, I thought I had ulnar tunnel syndrome all this time. What do you think I have? She's like, well, it doesn't really matter which one it is. okay. And like her solution was hanging from a door frame like this and like stretching the muscles, which I could a little bit, but and she had me do push-ups on my kitchen counter, which I didn't do till much later with Suparna. I didn't do any push-ups till much later. And it flared up this muscle. Like I had, she didn't call it a muscle tear. I forget what Suparna called it. But anyway, I guess so. But it took, so basically she's like, you need to ice it and you need to do XYZ. And don't you know, it got better. And now I can do push-ups. So, but just to show like this woman had great reviews, but she really didn't know anything. And then because I had done a deep dive on the internet, I looked up, I'm gonna forget the name of them now. There's like 3 exercises you can do: the Roos test, ROOS, and something else. It's like 3 exercises that test for a thoracic outlet. And I had, yeah, I had heard about them in one of the support groups. And I asked her, I was like, can you do this on me? Because my husband and I had tried to do it. And you kind of put your arms in these positions and then the other person puts their hand on your pulse to feel the pulse. And if you don't have a pulse, that's a positive for thoracic outlet. And she's like, oh, I've never heard these. Right? So I'm just saying, like, she really didn't know. And the and so she did it with me. I had no pulse, nothing, barely anything. Even just like sitting normal with my arm not in a position, I had no pulse there. But now it's nice and strong. It was cut off up here somewhere. There was an impingement, and I wasn't getting the blood circulation into my arms. So, just to say, like, yeah, you might have some with great reviews, but if they don't treat you for this stuff in particular, they might not be able to help you because they don't have the whole picture. Yeah.
I guess the next question is, it's like you kind of answered some of them already, but like, how did you cope during your RSI time? Like, what did you do to like deal with all of it? Because it was a lot, like mentally and emotionally.
Hmm. Uh, well, I was very depressed. I was actually. That's
Same.
another piece of my story because, with the jaw and everything, again, it was very isolating. Um, so I have a lot of depression that runs in my family, but because I had all this pain, I ended up going on antidepressants. And that's another piece of my story that people don't know is that if you're on antidepressants for a very long time, that it's really hard to get off of them. Not all of them, but there's 3 that are really hard to get off of, and I was on Cymbalta, which is given to people for chronic pain. And it has a very short half-life, which means if I would have these experiences when I was taking it where I would forget to take it for a day, and I would have like this weird like zappy feeling in my tongue and sort of down my arms. So then when I went to go off of the antidepressant, I tapered down, and then I was taking 1 pill. I did it slow, the way my doctor told me to. And then when I went off completely, then I started having all that zappy stuff. It's brain zaps. I didn't know it was brain zaps. And so, and I mean, I really thought I was off for 5 days and I really thought I was losing it. So back to the internet, and I found a support group on Facebook called Cymbalta Hurts Worse, and they have a protocol for tapering very, very slow. And it took me years to get off of Cymbalta. Yeah. So like you're not losing your mind. It actually is something, it doesn't happen to everybody, but it does happen to some people. And there are resources on the internet for how to taper safely so you're not completely losing it because people really, they think they're going crazy. They have really severe medical problems. And now I'm trying to get off my second antidepressant that I was on for a long time, and I'm having problems doing that too. Not as bad, but if you're on them for a really long time, your brain really gets used to being on them, and you need to research it before you go off, I would say, just to be safe and make sure you kind of know what's going to be happening.
I would assume they would know something.
No. Well,
Nope.
he retired, but the person that I see now, she's like, oh, I can tell she's kind of like, all right, like no one else had this problem, or it wasn't a drug. She didn't
It's a,
prescribe it to me. The old guy prescribed it to me who retired. It wasn't something she really uses in her practice. So she really hadn't had that experience, but she's kind of like, all right, like, she's kind of believes me, but I also feel like she's kind of like, all right, whatever. But, there's 30,000 people in this group having the same problem. This is not in everyone's head. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so that was one way to cope. It did help at the time, it seemed. But anyway, another cautionary tale.
yeah, I was doing when I was like in my lowest point because I had to do something to keep myself occupied. Well, I I guess I did a lot of reading, but like I got a book holder that held the book for me because I was so bad. Like I can't
Yeah.
hold the books. I couldn't hold books how I used to. Before RSI, I used to like be curled up on the couch like and like be hunched over the book. I can't do that. I can't do that anymore. And like I don't want to hold my arm. I'm not going to hold a book out like this. So I had my book holder, and I actually, when my neck was like the worst, I actually laid straight on. I just laid down on the couch, and I had the book thing above my head, and I would turn the page and I'd read the book. That was like within the very first few weeks of me starting the practice of Suparna's like protocol for me, and I was still like, because I had been to a chiropractor. Well, it was a massage person, and he gave me the worst advice. And he like not only did he like cause me extreme pain by massaging me really roughly, he basically told me that I like really had jacked up my neck and everything, but he didn't tell me how to fix it. And he's like, "Oh, you won't be able to read your you have to figure out a new way to read books." And so I interpreted that as, oh, I need to just sit up as straight as possible and not bend my neck. And and eventually did like this, which was like pricking it down really intensely. And that made the muscles here like spasm out. And then I was like trying to do self massage and I was like massaging this muscle. And I even like, I like was getting into the nerves. So my face was getting cold. And I'm like, I don't like this. Like, I was
Yeah, you
like,
got to be this area because there's a lot of
something
circulatory things here, and you have to be a little careful with that. Yeah.
I know I was luckily I didn't do anything too stupid, but I'm like, dude, I'm
Mhm.
not. I was trying to do like self medication stuff because I had gotten books and I was like trying to like look at what to do, and I had like I had from a while ago I had videos about how to recover from carpal tunnel that I had to pay for, and I was trying to do this lady's techniques, and I'm just like I'm just making this worse. Luckily, it was only I was only messing with Russell for like a short amount of time. I'm like, I'm not touching this. And then Suparna helped me, and then the neck finally calmed down, and then she taught me about how to use my screen tablet ergonomically. And I'm gonna do a whole video about that and like have someone film me so I can show them how to do it like on camera. Because if I tried to explain it now, it wouldn't be good enough. So but anyway, like okay, that was a tangent. Uh, yeah, my coping. So you basically already talked about how your treatment went because you did it slowly and like I guess. But did you? What type
Right.
of things did you do? Did she have you do moist heat therapy? And like I guess I could ask you about your protocol. I guess. So yeah, how did your treatment go?
With ice and heat, I did both.
Yeah.
And now I do a lot of like in the winter especially. I'm cold all the time, so I have like a heat pack I microwave and I just put it around my neck if I feel tense at all. Um, but I mean, I really don't have a whole lot of pain now, I have to say. I really don't. It's kind of, and I don't, I get it occasionally get some tingling. I did have a flare up recently. We added a lot of exercises all at once. And I think I probably should have done a little less. And then I was like kind of trying to type. I did a little too much, too many new things, but it wasn't that bad. Again, it just took some time. I just, you know, emailed her, what do I do? She told me, ice this, do that, So yeah, so we started out very slow. It was mostly just um, movement kind of things, getting things moving, loosened up, getting circulation. That's I think she has like five things. It's circulation, blood flow, nerve glides, stretches, and then you have to get to a certain point before you start strengthening.
Yeah,
Mhm.
to like reset the body.
And the nerve glides, are tricky. If you don't know what you're doing, you can hurt yourself. She had me do it very slowly. Like now when I do a nerve glide, I'll kind of move my neck. But when I first did it, I didn't move my neck at all. It was just moving my arms. That was it. There was no neck movement. That came later. But I mean, I was in bad, like I was in a lot of pain when I went to see her finally. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then I did see her in person once. I went for 3 treatments with her. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, so we drove down there for a family trip, and then I went to see her. And she does like very deep work on the fascia. Uh, so yeah, so that helps a lot too.
Because like, basically, when you get RSI, you're bound to have like the scar tissue happening from all the abuse. So
Yeah,
mine.
I
I
don't
still
know.
have mine.
She hasn't really talked to me about scar tissue. Has she told you that you have scar tissue or?
I when I was talking to her, I was like, I was telling her, I'm like, oh, I feel this little lump that's the size of an almond in my elbow, and she's like, oh, that's scar tissue, and I'm just like I would, because
Mm,
before I would feel like this, like my whole right arm, like I have it all over the place, like my fascia is so bad, like I
mm,
feel like all these lumps. At first, I'm like, oh, is that's just the fat under my skin? Like they're like, no, that's scar tissue. I'm like, what?
mm,
I didn't even know what it was until
mm.
like a few years ago, and I'm like, what is this? And I need to get rid of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll decrease over time when you're stretching and working on it.
Yeah, I'm able to do more. Like I play video games too. Like and Eric's like, well, you should use it as part of your practice. But I've been so hyper fixated on working on my own art projects. I'm gonna like do those more than the video games. Like I was when it comes to like easing yourself into different practices, you have to go slow. Like I I'm trying to remember how I was doing like a half an hour of video gamings and like way back. I don't know how many years ago it was, but I was I had gone up to half an hour, but like I have this thing where the scar tissue gets tight and it runs all the way down. My index finger gets sore, but that wasn't happening lately because I had been gotten stronger. Like my muscles had gotten stronger, so it's like the scar tissue wasn't as big of an issue, but I still my it's like I still want to like address it and like break it up to like because I'm like, oh, what would happen if it's like been covered? How much better could I be? But like I noticed
Yeah.
that this after my strength has after I have more strength, it wasn't as like debilitating feeling as it used to be because I remember when I would try to play piano and then I would feel like on my forearm I would feel like the little knots or something. I didn't even know what they were. I thought they were muscle knots, but maybe they were the fascial knots. I don't know, but like that's like the my next my next experiment for my body is to like break up the fascia. I'm like that's another like thing I'm gonna have on the channel. I'm gonna have like my documentation of what I'm gonna do with scar tissue because I feel like I feel like that would help a lot of artists that it, that the scar tissue affects how they do their work, and I feel like that they would benefit from like my experiences because I Google how to break up scar tissue and there's nothing, and I'm like I will be the first.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like that friction kind of massage. You're going back and forth, which is pretty much I think what she was doing. Like it was not like the long strokes. It was like going in and really digging in there.
Using her
It
hands.
really, oh yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's certain like techniques you have to like. In her book, it talked about like uh trigger points or something. I didn't know if that was actually the scar tissue or not, but like I the problem with me is my hands and muscles are so jacked up, I couldn't do it on myself. I could not massage it out. I would
Yeah.
need an actual person to go in and do it. And most people don't know what you're talking about. So it's like you have to have a specialist or like find some, like I have a box full of massage tools that I thought were going to help. And they're just sitting there. And I'm just like, when am I going to
There
find the
is a
right tool?
book. Have you gotten the book? I don't haven't used it in a while because I've been feeling better. But there's a blue book that I got on Amazon that everybody talks about in the sport groups. It's a trigger point book, and it
Oh, really?
maps the whole body and shows you, like if you're having pain in this muscle, you probably have a trigger point in X place. So like I had to wait like 6 weeks to see her. So I got that book and I got this S-shaped like massage tool. You ever see those? So you're using more of like it's like an S hook and it has like little knobs on it. So like you can put the knob on your body and then brace it against your leg or something. So you're not really using your hands, you're using that thing.
This thing called
And it gave me something to do. Yeah, that's it. The hurricane. Yeah. But there's a book, a blue book. Well, it's not for the hurricane, it's just like a trigger point therapy book. And you can use like a tennis ball and stuff like that. So that's a way to do it like on your own with a tool because you're right, your hands, I mean, although you're probably getting some hand strength now.
yeah.
I'm sure she has you doing hand.
I have yet to move on to squeezing stuff and using the
Yeah.
rubber bands because like I was like well on my way to like recovering and I was doing so well, but then I had the watering can incident and like I have like I talk about it in my other YouTube videos where I explain like I had
Yeah.
like this I was doing so well and like and I went way back down and it was like all my progress went back to zero and I had to start over and it's like so I couldn't like all the progressions that we were working towards had to stop had to get reset and I had to like build myself back up and so it's like I like I'm it's like I'm just getting back to the point where I was like way back in 2021. It's like it took me that long and I'm like but like there's definitely some things I'm going to look into trying out for like getting to the next level of recovery. And I guess uh the last question is what is your artistic practice now? How are you like what type of art are you making now?
I mean, I have a background in 3D art, like I've done jewelry and ceramics, but I don't have a ceramic studio or a metal studio. So much easier to paint and do collage and things like that. So yeah, so I've been painting mostly using acrylic paint and I got a jelly plate, so I've been playing around with that and making jelly prints and collaging and I'm just having like a great time with it. I mean, there's a lag time there since I graduated from art school and I really haven't had a practice. So I've been kind of working on my confidence and getting to a point where I feel more confident with it. I'm getting there with that. But yeah, it just feels so good. It's just so nice. It really is. Like I really could care less about typing with my hands. I mean, it's fine. I have a whole setup. It works. It's a little janky and weird, but it works. And no one's here watching me use my weird setup, so who cares? For me, it's more like it's relaxing. And, making art, like I've been reading about this a lot, participating in the arts, whether you're watching a theater show or you're making art or going to see art, really, it changes you physiologically. So like if you have that drive to be creative, like it's healing to make art. And that's one of the like the bad things about an RSI, if you're an artist or a musician, is you can't do the thing that makes you feel good, right? Like it's so frustrating, so frustrating. So my heart goes out to anyone who's going through it because you know, it really pulls the rug out from underneath you.
Because it's not just like, oh, I type, I'm a typist and I have to change my career. I'm like, no, my career is art and I'm not changing it. It's like that. It's like there's an extra level of cruelty to the people who get it
Yeah.
that are artistically inclined. And
Hmm.
I want to, this place. I want to make this space on my YouTube channel a place for people like me and you who refused to change and wanted to have their art back. I wasn't going to give up. I knew
Right.
there had to be a way. I knew there was a way. I wasn't going to quit. I was going to find something to make this work. Like I tried so many different like ergonomic ways to make my drawing work. I didn't want to give up drawing on my tablet, and I had set up a screen, like I wasn't using my screen tablet, but I was using a tablet that you drew on it and you looked at the screen, which in some ways would be better, but I got used to the screen tablet. But like I was I wasn't doing it ergonomically yet, so I was kind of like hunched up, or I wasn't, all the pieces weren't there together yet. But like when Stu Connor she basically blew my mind when she told me how to use my tablet the right way. I'm like, there's people out, everyone's got their tech neck. I'm like, I'm gonna help you. You're gonna, hopefully you'll take my advice, but
Prevention is really the key, right? You don't want to get to where we are.
I
You
want,
want
I
to
want
prevent
to,
this.
I want to teach people that they can stop it, and if they're in it already, they can get out. But like, I want to tell people that don't do what we did. You know,
Yeah.
you have
But it
you
really
have
does.
people.
I mean, I kind of have that attitude as well, Deirdre. I'm sorry, you cut out for a second. I didn't mean to
Oh,
interrupt you.
it's fine.
But
I've been interrupting. Go ahead.
but I definitely had, and this is not a toxic positivity sort of thing, like what I went through really sucked. But
Yeah.
I always had the problem solving mindset. Like there's something else I can do. There's got to be something I can do that's going to make this better. And even though there were periods of time where I wasn't doing anything that seemed to be helping, I still always had that mindset like, this can't be how I'm going to be. There
Yeah.
must be a way for me to, I'm going to find a person or a technique, something. So, yeah.
I would always like I would go to the internet and I was like, well, maybe if I type use these keywords, I'll find something. Or if
Mhm.
go to this group instead. I just I wasn't gonna I just couldn't give up. I didn't want to. There were some periods of my time where I was like really, really depressed, and I was just kind of drifting through my life a little bit. Just it was like 6 months of my life where I was just like so depressed that I almost didn't
Yeah.
even, it's like I was about ready to check out. Luckily, I didn't. I'm like, thank God, because I found the Damany
But
Center.
that's normal. It
Yeah,
is normal, I think, to have depression and anxiety when you have stuff like this going on. It's totally normal,
and it's like
especially when
the
you're young. There's nobody
sorry,
else, you feel like a really,
the family doesn't get it.
when you're older, yeah, your family does, yeah. Yeah,
Like, oh well, I don't
yeah.
take
Oh,
ibuprofen. I'm just like, no. Oh, I took so much ibuprofen. I was like, I took so much that I think I was getting like all the crazy side effects that they listed. Like my tongue swelled up. Okay, I think that was bad. That was like, okay, we need something's going on here. I sucked on an
yeah,
ice cube and it made my tongue shrink back down. But like this, I was popping so many ibuprofen because I didn't know what else to do. It was crazy.
I know,
Yeah, that
I know.
I don't take it at all now ever.
Yeah. But it's the whole thing of having a hidden disability. If people can't see it, they don't quite get it
And
because they
then
don't,
they
if you don't have a cane or a crutch or a wheelchair, not to say that that's easy for people who have those
yeah,
either, but there is a level of people not quite getting it.
and they like one of my issues, and I've already talked about it in my videos, but um, is telling people no, telling them you can't do this thing because I'm not going to hurt myself. I know if I did this thing, I would hurt myself because I this was the day after the watering can incident, and I had to do something. I had to help clean up my sister's apartment, and I really didn't want to do it, but I felt like I had to, and I used those muscles in that arm that were already pissed off. It
Right.
pissed my arm off even more after that, and I'm just like after that happened, and I was like I'm like, okay, so I did something to this arm, and doing that made it worse. So like, that taught me I have to say, no, I'm not moving that stuff. I'm not lifting that heavy thing, because otherwise, if I don't, I'm not protecting myself. I'm not protecting my body. I'm like disrespecting my my limits. So that was something I had to learn. Because like when you're healing and you're going through like the precarious time of like lifting those little weights and slowly climbing out of the hole, you can't have someone say, oh, hey, can you lift that heavy thing? Nope, I'm not doing that.
No, no, because you got to preserve that progress. And
Yes.
once it's like once all those muscles come online together, that's when it clicks and you feel better because, it's like I couldn't get past that part with my forearm, but then when I started doing the yoga,
Like the full
that
body.
that was when the switch went on, and I think I stabilized this, and then everything else could build from there, you know. So I feel incredibly fortunate that I found her. I really do, you know. So
We both found her on an internet site somewhere on the internet. So thank you
mhm.
for the
Yeah, yeah. I mean, thank God for Zoom and Skype and that you can do everything over video
yeah,
conference now. Amazing.
Skype is no more. Now it's Microsoft
Uh, oh, I know
meetings
that.
now. But like it's
Yeah,
I mean
Teams
like
meeting.
I had my Skype for such a long time, and then it's just like Microsoft's just like we're cutting the cord. I'm like, okay then, all right, I guess I'll have to migrate. Ugh, I don't want
Yeah,
to do it, but I have to. It wasn't that
yeah,
bad, but it's just like I hate it's. I'm a person that's like if you make me sign up for one more account, I won't do it. It's like I'm tired of it already. But
yeah,
well, I think that about wraps up today's talk about
yeah,
RSI. We did about as much as we
yeah,
can, and we hopefully our stories will help anyone who's listening take take some time and learn about the Damany Center and see if Suparna can help you with whatever you're dealing with, and don't
yeah,
give up hope. So this
yeah.
has been
Definitely do not give up hope.
definitely
Yeah, keep researching it. Talk to other people that have been through it in support groups. They're all
yeah.
online.
Go to
And
Reddit, go to Facebook, find your people.
yeah, I mean, it can be a double-edged sword, right? Because hearing people's stories can be hard, but if
Yeah,
if you're looking at it from a problem-solving perspective, you can find the answers. And you need someone to help you, especially if you've gone years. You need to find someone who can really give you the whole picture. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for putting the information out there.
yeah. Mm, you know, talking and we can talk about things because I do make videos. Suparna will come on eventually. She's a busy lady, always running around, learning stuff and helping people. But I'm planning on having her get on here, and Eric's probably gonna come on in a future interview, and maybe I can find some more people with that has a similar experiences, so I can get more people out there to
Yeah,
share to help everyone. So, all
I'm
right,
sure
so
she has other patients that would be willing to
yeah,
talk to you. I'm sure because I don't know how many people she's treated, but it's got to be thousands.
there's I know there's more artists than just you and me, so it's just a matter of time and getting used to doing this
Yeah,
whole podcast thing.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, thank you for the opportunity to talk about it, and I hope we talked about help somebody out there.
Yeah, I hope everyone can who's listening to this will find a grain of help for you.
Hmm.
Remember,
Yeah,
there's more to life. You can get through this. So, all right.
yeah.